When people talk about how their pursuit for dunya ruined their relationship with the Book of Allah, I was always like, nah, this is not me, nah, and this cannot happen to me because I knew how much I loved the Quran in the past. And right now, it's sad to say that I fell off the Book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I started to memorize the Quran back in 2023. I started to memorize and I joined a madrasa in around of August time. I didn't actually, it was my friend that wanted to join the madrasa, not me. And because he said, okay, this is like an exciting new thing, like, okay, finally you're gonna join this new thing, this madrasa, whatever. I said, okay, fine, I'm gonna join him together. We joined the madrasa. And I started to recite more Quran, revise more Quran, and I started to become like this top in the class. Very quickly, I started to get students of my own, and one of the things I realized is that when you have a student, the moment they start calling you a sheikh, you start to lose this drive you have for the Quran because you see yourself as you reach that point. Very quickly, within 2-3 months of joining the madrasa, they gave me students because of how much Quran I was doing. I would leave the house and together with some of my friends, would pack our bags, would be going to the madrasa. Some days we would stay in the madrasa up all night. Some days we would sleep in the madrasa. So I started to build this love for the Quran. We did so many like these Quran competitions or whatever, and so many times we did the Quran, and I was like always like I cannot fail the Quran. I love the Quran. How can I just possibly fail? And actually, some of the times like I did fall off and get up, fall off, get up. But this time around, I was doing this. I call it the work season. Basically, I wanted to do a season of work that I would not do anything else except work. I would just keep the rest of the goals on like maintenance so that I don't stop it completely. So instead of doing the massive amount of portion I used to do of Quran, I would start doing like the muraja. I would do basic things, the minimum of everything, so I don't feel the rest of the goals. I went through this extended season, like it's day 21 right now, 3 weeks in, and I realized that I haven't even done a single muraja in weeks. I think I did about half a juz about this month. I used to cycle every week, and now it's been 3 weeks. I haven't even cycled a single. I'm just hating myself. I just feel like it just feels awful. 24 hours. I try to revise the Quran, but it's just that when I start to revise the Quran, immediately my mind just turns into something else, and then I'll leave the Quran. Every single time, like for example, I was be walking around and I will be revising the Quran. In my mind, I'll be reciting the Quran, like sometimes out loud, sometimes in my head. I'll be walking around, and the moment I reach about a page, I just abandon. I just forget about what I was even doing. I just do something else. I became so addicted to working that I fell off the Book of Allah. And this is not the first time it happened to me. It happened to me so many times. I'm the type of person whereby when I obsess about one thing, I just forget about anything else. I just zone out of everything and just focus on this one thing, which can be good. But the problem is that I was not doing the muraja. And before I even entered the season, I was having like strong faith that you can quote anything, I can bring it out. But started like the easy parts. Sometimes I do have to cross check. Sometimes I do have to, like for example, like let's take Surah Baqarah. I know Surah Baqarah like my name. Okay, I can recite the entire surah, but there was a day I was actually reciting and I was making so many mistakes because it's been a while since I've checked the Quran. I haven't even opened my mushaf for a while. Imagine not being my mushaf. I was not nurturing this soul. You're supposed to be nurturing your soul, and I was not doing that. My soul was starving from Quran. While I was coping behind, or I'm working, like I need to focus my energy and everything on this one thing. What's the point of the work if you abandon the Quran? Up until a few days ago, I had to like write it into one of my books. I had to write it down, like why did I abandon the Quran? So many times I would sit down and start Quran and forget about it. This is just talking about the muraja. I'm not even talking about like the progress in my head because I haven't done that for over months now. And from this journey, I realized that I'm making quite a lot of resistance. I'm getting quite a lot of resistance because of, don't understand, I've been recording since around like 3 a.m. Right now it's like what? It's like 6 a.m. right now. So I'm not having this like resistance when it comes to my work. or even my laptop. I don't have any of this resistance. It's just that when it comes to the book of Allah, I have like so many resistance to that. And I do not say that my sins were accumulating. It's just that I'm starting to drift off the Quran. I didn't realize how bad that is until I realized that some of the pages are starting to go away. Some of the pages it took months trying to bring back. Some of the pages it was very, very genuinely it was very hard for me to bring back. Like for example, Surah An-Am. It was tough for me. And Surah An-Am now is not as strong. It's not even strong at all. And now I realize that what those people were talking about, they were right. Chasing the dunya. This is a big thing for me to say, but chasing the dunya would have an effect on your Quran. I need to put this Quran as like my pillar. Even if I'm gonna work, but this Quran, I have to nurture it. Like what is the minimum of doing a muraja every day? It's like completing a cycle every 10 days. And I was thinking like, nah, 10 days will be like, before I cycle like it will go or whatever, so I'll not even do that. And this is a big limiting belief that I had. How can I just remove this resistance from the Quran? Every single time I sit down, I have to resist. I have to use willpower for my Quran. A lot of the good habits I'm doing, I'm not using any willpower. For some reason, I use willpower for the Quran. I even try to do istighfar for a while, but it's just not connecting with the book of Allah. Some of my past videos, when you watch it, you will see that I love the Quran. Many of the videos I make was conquering like this fear of feeling overwhelmed and so many things about the Quran. Today I woke up actually at 1 a.m. and did my Tahajjud. I sat down on my chair and I scripted 7 videos today. After that, I did record more videos, and then about 4:30, I did revise the Quran. I felt so happy. I felt so happy. It felt so fulfilling. I really miss revising the Quran. And one of the things I realize now is that the debate between reciting the Quran fast and reciting the Quran slow. I now understand why people talk about reciting the Quran slow. People talk about, no, I don't have enough time, so I have to like recite Quran fast. Reciting the Quran fast, you'll be able to complete your head, but it doesn't have the impact to have as if you were reciting slow. And so I decided, okay, fine. What is the minimum I have to do every 10 days? I memorize half of the Quran. That is a juz and a half a day. And so, okay, I decided, okay, I'm going to recite a juz in the morning and then half juz in the evening time. Alhamdulillah, I tried. I did not finish the juz actually. I did about half a juz today because I was recording. I didn't realize how fast time goes. You should recite the Quran slow. But if you don't have enough time, recite the Quran fast, but with a slight caveat, which is after you recite the Quran, you complete your will, whatever. You're supposed to have another time, like you would recite the Quran slow. For example, if you're walking around the streets, you can recite the Quran. Just have this kind of feeling for the Quran. And I lost that because I was pursuing this video, making these videos. Like I've been producing like more times than ever. Just that I was neglecting the book of Allah, and I was trying to fit the book of Allah in my routine instead of being the pillar of my system. And you might think, and from this story, you might think that nah, it's not gonna be you. Trust me, you just know what the future will be. If you're struggling with health, try as much as you can to walk around there. If you're struggling with distractions, I have a video on distractions also. You need to put time aside for the Quran. And another thing that helped me today actually was, instead of thinking I must complete my wird, think whatever page I do today is progress. And it has a little problem because some of the times you will not do much. For example, you might say half juice today, maybe tomorrow juice, and thinking that your head will not be strong. It's just that you'll be making progress. Okay? So what you need to do, or what I also need to do, is that whatever page I do is progress. So I do have a habit tracker. You cannot see it, but I have a habit tracker right now. And in fact, there are some habit tracker I place on the wall. If you see the most amount of, I tick green for good and red when I miss that. and the amount of regret I have in like muraja and hifz is very very much, which is very very bad. And so I decided, okay, instead of thinking I must complete 50 pages a day, I think whatever page I make is progress. And by doing that, I was able to remove this resistance with the Quran, and I was able to recite the Quran fine, and I started to enjoy the Quran again. So beautiful, man. The Book of Allah, it has so many benefits to that. The Book of Allah gave me the Book of Allah gave me so many things that I cannot just say in one video. Alhamdulillah, I am the Imam of our masjid now. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I didn't know anything in the Quran. Now I'm the Imam of Fajr in our masjid. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, the Quran has helped me. And what did I do for the Quran? I have bound up with so many things. You need to have, for example, if you don't have time, you can, for example, before in your commute, you can recite the Quran. Before recording content, just recite the page of the Quran. Just add more pages as you go along the way. That from you have 24 hours. So you don't need to sit down and recite all 50 pages in that day. You can recite roughly throughout the day. For example, in your work, in your commute, before you start work, or just that is why you're supposed to be a hafiz. You need to memorize the Quran, and so that you can be able to revise even without looking at the Quran. It's very very powerful if you have that. And inshallah, I would hold this Quran strong. Inshallah, it's 2021 right now. I need to hold the Quran as strong as possible for the rest of the 100 days. Try as much as you can, because the Quran, it helped me so many times. And when I got the success that I wanted, or the success I got, and after I got the success, I neglected the Book of Allah, which is a very very bad thing to do. Inshallah, like I said, I will hold the Quran as much as I can. There are so many limiting beliefs I have for the Quran, and part of it is that I'm thinking like it's already night time and I need to complete all these things, man. It's just so much. Reduce the friction. One of the laws of behavior change is make it easy. Make reciting the Quran so easy for you, because when you don't make it easy, you try to complete everything at the same time, there will be bad days. You will not be able to sustain it, which is very bad. I would like to end with the humble quotes. Too much attention makes a donkey think he's a liar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.